the Business Finance Podcast, brought to you by the Best Finance Group. New episodes every Friday. Hello and welcome to the Business Finance Podcast. He's Jack Seymour.
He's Phil Murphy.
Welcome. And I think this is episode 20, Jack,
wow.
Actually. So not bad, is it? Not bad. Still going. So we're continuing our series on business acquisitions. We did MBIs, MBOs, how to finance them in the last few episodes. And today we're just going to talk about getting your business ready for sale. So we're going to run through a few key things, the most common questions that we get asked, because we do help businesses sell and raise finance, etc., and guide them along the way. So we're just going to run through a few common questions we get asked, and hopefully you'll find it useful. So Jack, first question we get asked.
We're kicking it off at the top.
Going straight in. How do I prepare my business for sale? What's some of the key things that business owners should start to think about if they are thinking of the exit?
Yeah, well, that exactly, having that thought process, so thinking about, giving enough time before the actual sale, so not leaving it to the last minute. Commonly people will sell because they're at retirement or there's no succession on from that seller. So I think it's really identifying some key personnel, who's key, instrumental in the business. Can this business run without me? Have I got a management team in place?
Yeah.
Have I got a valuation? What would I be happy with? And try not to let that green-eyed monster come out and actually think, what would be a fair, inverted commas, fair price, and ultimately give the business the best chance of success post-acquisition?
Yeah.
Do you want all the money up front? Do you want it over the course of time? What would you be happy with in the time frame of that? So there's a lot of different factors that go into it. There's not one single factor.
You've got to think about, what does life look like post-sale? How much do you need?
Yeah.
What are your plans?
And mentally getting prepared for a lot of people have built that business from the start. It's their baby, isn't it? And saying, I'll be happy to take a step back, and I'll be happy for someone to make those changes in my business as well. Yeah,
so it's all about preparing. You're looking at how somebody's going to buy your business. Obviously, they're buying the future performance of your business, so they're going to be wanting to know, is there systems and processes in place? Are things written down? Are there manuals and guides? Are you too reliant on key members of staff?
Yeah.
Are the customer relationships dependent on the director? It's all about removing yourself from that and making it more of a more solid purchase.
Yeah, because everyone loves that key word. Is it owner managed? Is it owner managed? A lot of businesses, SME businesses are, but like you just said there, reducing that resilience on, and the reliance rather, on that key director or board of directors really does help to push the price up.
Even key staff within the business that actually have all the knowledge. It's about sharing that knowledge around and making sure it is written down.
Yeah, and documented,
And other staff are up trained so they can help there as well. Okay, another question people ask is, what factors can reduce the value of my business, or what can slow down the sale?
Yeah, great question. So I think having the financial accounts and all your management information, your performance readily available to hand, because any buyer's going to come in and say, right, let's see last 3 years annual accounts, your management information, so a profit and loss and a balance sheet. I really want to understand how this business is performing now. So making sure all your accounts and your financial records are bang up to date and maintained as well.
Yeah.
A second thing could be your customer base.
Yeah.
So how well spread is the customers? Is there a concentration on one customer? So over, say, 20% or 30% of your overall sales, is it concentrated to one customer? Are there contracts behind them? And really being able to present that information in the best light possible.
And is that customer with you because of the relationship they've built up over years with the owner?
Yeah.
What happens when he exits? So it's again moving yourself away from that, and again contracts help, don't they? Having contracts in place.
Yeah, having contracts, absolutely. And as we all know, have they been reviewed, especially in construction, making sure that those contracts are watertight and you know what you've signed up for as well.
Yeah, so getting your financials in place is key, isn't it? Next question some business owners will often ask themselves is, when is the right time to sell my business?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a golden one, isn't it? When is the right time to sell? I always use the analogy of a house, really. When's the right time to sell my house? Because a lot of people have done that. So I think it's assessing the market. Is the market in your industry, which you run, your business, is it buoyant at that time? Because of course that will attract a higher sale price and ultimately give the new owners or owner the best chance of success possible. So what is the industry like at that time, and have you mentally prepared yourself to take a step back from the business, and do you feel it's the right time in your life or the right time in your business journey to exit the business?
Yeah, because sometimes people will sit a business owner, they might win a big contract and they think, oh well, I can't leave now, we've just won this big contract, but that's actually sometimes the perfect time to sell, isn't it? When you've just won that big contract, adds value to the business.
Yeah, and adds security as well, yeah.
Yeah, it comes down to individual preference, doesn't it? So, yeah, okay, that's fine. Next question, should I sell the assets or the shares in my business?
Yeah, oh, what a question, what a question.
Thank you.
So there's three types of sales. There's a share purchase, asset purchase, or a share and asset purchase. An asset purchase generally is reserved for a smaller business where there's, it could be manufacturing. The business itself isn't performing very well, but it's got some really good solid assets there. Then that would attract a buyer who will say, I'll buy your assets and I'll start a new company and form a new company.
Yeah.
So, or for a smaller cafe, for example, where there's some trade there, there's some assets of the shop and the lease, etc., and a new owner will just want to buy the assets of the business.
Yeah.
A share purchase, this is not what we commonly see, just the shares on their own. It's always really a share and asset purchase, where you're buying the trade of the business as well as the assets as well.
So you've got control of the business.
Yes.
Another question then, who should be on my advisory team when I'm planning to sell my business?
Yeah, so you want to know who's in your camp and who's around you to support you with that sale. An accountant, whether that be your current company accountant or someone who you've brought in who specialises in acquisitions, so a specialist tax and accountant as well. Because don't forget, an accountant's like a doctor, and a tax advisor is different from an accountant, who's different from a financial director. Everybody has their own skill set, so ensuring that you've got the right people in those camps is really key. Someone like ourselves, of course, commercial finance broker and a business broker who can actually facilitate the sale, facilitate the buy if it's on the buy side, and as well as the finance to make sure that it runs as smoothly as possible, and we will bring those services together for you.
Yeah, and look at all the options, we'll put together different options of how to structure the finance of the sale.
Yeah,
which is a big piece.
Yeah, saving ultimately, hopefully, time and money in the process as well. And finally, I would say is having a lawyer, and again ensuring that they're a specialist acquisition lawyer and someone who does this on a day-to-day basis is really key.
I think what's interesting as well, you always said that obviously you've got quite a few lawyers that you work with, but one in particular does it on a fee basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on a set fee basis. Yeah. So lawyers will all charge differently, and there's strengths and weaknesses throughout. But we can give you some options on our panel of lawyers that we have available to us to hopefully match some to your skill set.
If you know exactly what it's going to cost, then rather than going on and on and on and being charged more and more, you can budget for that, can't you?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
That's great. Thank you, Jack. It was very useful as usual. So let's have a look. Have you got any sales that you're working on at the moment? Perhaps an example. There was one that you were talking about a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Came up in conversation.
Yeah, sure. So a business on the south coast. If you're watching, hello, you know who you are. Director there, sole director shareholder, bought the business himself about 25 years ago, and the business has been running for about 80 years. So a long-standing engineering company. But there's no succession for this director, so he's come to terms with selling his business, and he's said to, and we've actually got to know this client through finance. We did a factoring facility for him, reviewed his facility, and saved him about £8,000 a year. So he said, Jack, can you sell it? And absolutely, yes, we can. So we're at the moment getting him ready to sell and putting this systems in place so the business can ensure that it runs post-exit. There's a smooth handover. Unfortunately, we've got a buyer that is known to us as well, who we've bought 3 engineering companies for. I spoke to him about this business for sale, and he's really keen.
Great.
So that's going to be a huge success story.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, so I bet he's happy then.
Yes, yeah.
That came up in conversation, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm just sort of ready.
That's it, and
ready to go.
if in doubt, test us out. Yeah, because there's always something that someone that we know. So yeah.
No, brilliant. Well, thank you again, Jack. I hope that's been useful to you. Please like, subscribe, wherever you're watching and listening to us from. We appreciate it. So thank you very, very much. We'll see you next week on the Business Finance Podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. If you have any commercial finance requirements, please contact us at thebestgroup.co.uk.